Hi, Mike here. You're watching Scout Restoration Yukon. One of the longest jobs in the restoration of my Scout 800 was door assembly. In this video, Scout door pre-assembly, I clean and lubricate the door latches, interior latch rod, and window regulator for the doors on my 1966 Scout 800. Then I install new liners in the rear window channels. Bonus, I repair badly damaged linkage from the latch to the latch rod. I will show all the details. I hope you like it. If you want to help, please subscribe to Scout Restoration Yukon. It's free. Mike Morrow, over and out. Hi, Mike here. You're watching Scout Restoration Yukon. So let's get to work. The first thing I have to do is run a tap through these captured nuts because they have paint in them. So this is the latch for the passenger door. The first thing I want to install is the latch, but I have some work to do on this latch. First of all, I have to remove this blue paint. This is the linkage that goes to the control rod that goes to the inside door handle to open and close the door. As you can see, it's screwed up. Somebody's been welding on it and working on it and messed it up. So I'm going to remove that, just like that, right? The rest of this, I've done a pretty good job of cleaning all the grease out, but I'm not done. And we have to check it to make sure it turns, latches properly, right? Which it does. Right? It does latch properly. And you have to check these springs. There's a clock spring here, and there's a spring here, and everything looks pretty good. I will clean it again one more time, and then I will lubricate first with silicone lube, and then I will put some synthetic grease in behind here and in behind here, right? And some of these pivot points, like this pivot point here, right? I'll put a little bit of engine oil in there, squirt a little bit of engine oil in there, right? But everything seems pretty good. Everything's moving. This is for the lock. The lock goes into this, the mandrel and the lock goes into here. And this little latch here is what locks the door. So that's fine. So I have to do that. But first, I have to deal with this. So this is the linkage off the driver's side here. So that's what it's supposed to look like, right? Let me turn this one around here. Okay, of course it's bent wrong. That's easily rectified. And they've been doing some crude welding on here. They tried to weld the nut on the back. So what I'm going to do is clean this all up, grind it flush, fix the bad weld, right? And then I'll drill a hole and I'll weld another nut and I'll straighten it and I'll make it identical to this one, right? So I'm going to get to work on that. So I'm going to clean this up with the grinder. So just grind out that porosity. Actually, it's slag, and I went right through. But I got the slag out of there. So I'm just welding that up a little bit. That's more like it. Same thing on the other side. Right. Just gonna grind that. Turn it around. Like this. Other side. So I've straightened out this piece. I've welded it up. It's all repaired. I bent it. It's the same as the other one. All right. I drilled a hole in it and I bolted the two together and I put the nut here. So what that means is these bolts, these nuts are going to be perfectly in position. So all I have to do now is tack this nut in 2 or 3 places, clean this up, and paint it. I think 3 little tacks is more than sufficient to hold that. Before installing the latches, I'm running a 12 by 24 tap through the screw holes. I painted this part of the latch. That's the only part that sticks out of the door. It's visible. Painted that body color. Those threads are clean. Just going to spray a little bit of silicone lube behind here. Give it a little wipe. Now everything needs lubricated. Everything that moves needs lubricated. Just putting a little bit of engine oil in here. Not very much. Just a little bit. All these pivot points, everywhere where it moves, right? I'm just putting a little drop of engine oil. Just moving it back and forth so the oil can get in there. And then wiping off the excess oil. Right? A little bit here, down in here, pivot point here. That's the lock. So that's lubricated. That one's lubed. A little bit of oil on this clock spring. A little bit of oil on this spring here. And just a little bit of oil on the lock part. I think I'll put some on the outside of that too. Move that. Now I'm just grabbing the excess oil. So everything's free and moving. Now I'm using my needle greaser to put a little bit of grease, just mainly to get it to go in behind here, in behind here, a little bit here, a little bit here on the lock mechanism. You just squirt it right in there, and a little bit here, and a little bit here. Basically, anywhere where it pivots, just squirting a little bit of grease in there like that. Pushing it in there with my finger, working it in a little bit here, and here, into the latch. Okay.
Attention, fellow Scout enthusiasts. Thanks for watching. I hope that you're getting useful insights from my videos. If I can earn 1,000 subscribers, I will be able to create Scout videos for a long time. Please like and subscribe so that we can continue this journey for years to come. I will show all the details. Over and out.
This is the rear window channel. It has the original plastic liner. This is an aftermarket liner. I'll have to cut it to length. First, I want to get this one out. So there's a little metal tab here, and I'm just bending it down to make room to remove this filler strip here. See? Now that comes out. So I flatten that out, the brass drift, and just see there's a couple of sharp edges there. I'm just going to try cutting that. The hacksaw. So now I'm spraying silicone lubricant into the channel here. And it is going. Just needs a little push with a screwdriver to go the last little bit. There we go. So now it's in that far that way, right? I'd like to try to bend this tab back. Pliers. Yes. Turn that around because I have a stopper here, right? I'm just tapping that. This is the interior latch rod, which goes from the inside door handle to the latch at the other end of the door. I'm just running a tap through the two threaded mounting holes. So this plate that the inside door handle attaches to is spring loaded, and it has to pivot. You have to be sure it pivots freely in both directions against the springs, and it does. So you can see right inside here where the springs are, right? It's empty. It's completely empty. I blasted all the old lubricant out of there. So I'm going to pump that full of synthetic grease for two reasons: to lubricate it and to reduce the noise, because sometimes you get the noise of the springs making noise. And so with my needle greaser, I'm able to stick that right in there and just pump grease in there. Fill it up with the grease, right? Now push the grease in there with my fingers. Pivot it back and forth a couple of times. I just want to wipe off the excess grease. By the way, I live in a very cold climate, so I always use synthetic grease for these type of applications. I see two more little corners that I can pump some grease into. Here and here. Wipe off the excess. And then there's a pivot point here. Silicone lube in here and here. I'll just try to put a little bit of grease into this pivot point here. All right. Wipe off the excess. Move that back and forth like that. Wipe off the excess grease again. And down here. So everything's cleaned up and tidy. So that is now ready to install. So this is the window regulator. The first thing I did was weld these threaded lugs to, because they're just crimped. You see, they're just crimped on the back side of this plate. These are the mounting lugs, and they were kind of loose. So I just tacked them both sides, right? And then on the other side, I've been working on this head. This is the head where the handle crank goes, and it's got grease in it, right? And so I've been shoving a wire in here and getting it to go like right around. If I bend it enough, if I bend the wire enough, right, I can get it to go right around here. So it's not plugged up. I broke up some stuff. I got some junk out of there. And I was able to push a zip tie around there. And yeah, you can actually see the zip tie coming out the other side. So I'm not too worried about this because I read that these can be full of grease. The grease goes solid and hard and they're full of grease. So what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is my spray, my silicone spray lube, right? I'm just going to put a bunch of that everywhere, right? So it's coming out everywhere. And in here, this roller is quite stiff. This has to turn. So I'm spraying some lube in there, moving it, wiggling it back and forth, spraying some lube underneath it, right? Yeah. And yeah, you see, that's got to move up and down, right? Up. It's got a spring underneath it. There, it's starting to move up and down. And same thing over here. This one moves up and down, right? So first of all, I'm just putting a lot of silicone lube. And then the pivot here, there's another pivot here. And this pivot here, right? And again, into the head here, right? Now I'm going to flip it over. And with this window crank, I'm just going to work it, right? So I'm working the mechanism, cranking it all the way this way, right? All the way that way. All right. It's working quite smoothly. I'm quite happy with that. You can hear the spring makes a noise sometimes, but we'll fix that. So that's going very smoothly, full range of motion. I'll just turn it upside down and watch it from the other side, right? And same thing, right? This regulator, it's working fine. Of course, it needs more lubrication. Take that off there, and I'm just going to mop up all the excess silicone lubricant that's all over the place. I see something here. All right, so I'm just mopping up the excess, turning it over, mopping up the excess. So I did that much. Now I'm going to put silicone lube on the spring too. That spring, right? Now, the next thing I'm opting for here, like on these, is some motor oil. Just a little squirt of motor oil, because it gets right in there. Now that's moving nicely. You see how nicely that's moving up and down, right? And I'll put a little bit of motor oil on this spring here too, right? And here, and I'll flip it over. And I'll put some motor oil in the head here. This is the head, right? So put some motor oil in there till it runs out the other side. There's a lot of motor oil in there, and I'll put some here and here. And of course, the 3 rollers will get lots of lubrication. It's definitely improving, going up and down nicely. Put some more oil on this one here. And it's going up and down nicely. Now I'm going to mop up the excess again a little bit. I'm going to turn it over. And before I grease it, quickly run a tap in these threads here. They seem fine. That's a 12 by 24 tap. It's worth noting these holes go right through, so you don't need a bottoming tap and you don't have to worry about stuff accumulating in the bottom of the hole. You don't have to blow them out. So we got that far, right? Once again, synthetic grease. Right, so I'll grease those two spots there. And I'll try to get some grease here and here. Whoop. All right. Okay. So now, just spread that around nicely. And try to work this into the spring a little bit. So it helps. Helps reduce the noise. The springs can make noise. And then this one here, and popping it up and down, and it's going very well. So a little bit excess grease there. Put that over here, right? Flip this over. This roller here is moving freely and smoothly now that it's been well lubricated. And it's getting a good shot of grease. I'll just put some more grease on there. And I have one more. The spring on it here. Now you get this grease jammed in there and work this up and down repeatedly. And then there's the head. So I'm thinking with my needle greaser, I should be able to pump in here. Just going to turn that around rather than move my grease gun. I'll turn that around and I'll try pumping in this hole. Oh yeah, look at that. Stuff's coming out all around. So that means I got it. Yeah, and it moved on the other side too. So that means I got the grease in to the head, right? So there's a little excess here. Can just go on the teeth here, right? So now that's all greased up. I'm going to once again put the winder on there, right? And work that. And it's turning smoothly and easily. And work it all the way that way and all the way that way. And I'll turn it over here. And grease all over the place. Messy, but that's what we want. Now, I need to put some more grease on here. I'm just smearing it around. Some more grease in there. I'll just work that. Regulator. It's a little hard to hang on to. Maybe I'll turn it around like this. All right, now I'll work that regulator all the way that way. All right. All the way back. Okay, cool. It's messy, but it's lubricated. And that's what we want, lubrication. So this is ready to install in the door.
In conclusion, that went very well. Everything is in excellent condition. In my next video, Scout Door Assembly 1, I installed the driver's side door latch, rear window channel, door handle, interior latch rod, front window track, window regulator, outer window seal, and the window winder handle. I will show all the details. I hope you like it. If you want to help, please subscribe to Scout Restoration Yukon. It's free. Mike Morrow, over and out.